Ben Riggs presents D&D Out Loud. Episode 89. Luke Gearing is my rival and he doesn't even know it.
Greetings once again, assembled internet hordes. I am apparently controversial D&D historian Ben Riggs, author of Slaying the Dragon, A Secret History of Dungeons & Dragons, available at finer bookstores everywhere. And on this show, I give you the opportunity to experience the brilliance, the genius of the tabletop role-playing game designers that I encounter in my work as a podcaster and historian. Today, we have two of these human firebrands, these acmes of the human imagination on this show to delight and entertain you for the next 60 minutes. First today, I am joined by W.F. Smith, the mind behind Prismatic Wasteland, one of the sharpest OSR blogs in the game. If you've heard of Barkeep on the Borderlands, that's him too. The barhopping, pubcrawl-fantasy fever dream that took home a Gold ENnie. Smith writes like a man with a notebook full of bad ideas he's somehow made playable, and we're going to talk about design, tables, taste, and why the tavern should be an engine of chaos, not a loading screen. W.F. Smith, welcome back to D&D Out Loud.
Hey, thanks for having me back. Yeah, I think I joined the first time before you had the elaborate intro, so I had to come back just to get my long intro version.
I mean, I wrote a couple sonnets in the summer. I really found myself with some free time. I'm like, Jonathan Tweet's coming on. Let's write a sonnet. So thank you so much. Also on the show, Brad Kerr, writer at Necrotic Gnome, co-host of Between Two Cairns, the podcast that reviews modules with the seriousness of scholars and the emotional stability of goblins. Brad's the author of Hideous Daylight and Temple of 1000 Swords. He's also the guy who, along with Skullfungus, created the Dream Shrine, which won gold at the 2025 ENnies for Best Adventure Short Form. Brad, you are no stranger to podcasting, obviously, but welcome to my corner of the internet, sir.
Thanks, Ben. It's really great to be here.
Tell me about Skullfungus.
He's a sweetheart. He's like the coolest guy. He lives in Sweden, and I don't know. Recently, he has a young child. I have a 5-year-old, and he has, I think his son is 4 or something like that. But recently, we've been sending a lot of messages, and he's like, hey, my son is wondering about time zones. What time is it there? And I'm like, believe it or not, your night is my morning, And so we've had a really strong cultural exchange lately. I was teaching him about everything bagels. They don't have that in Sweden. But yeah, he's a great dude. We've connected just, I don't know, on the internet, and now we're friends. And that's the beautiful thing about living in this time period, is that you can do that.
So,
and now your children can collab and make some adventures as well. Yeah.
Yeah, they can learn about things like bagels and time zones. So yeah, shout outs to the internet.
So you two know each other from before this, obviously, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I know Brad better than he knows me because we've met like at a con, so he knows me for like a weekend. But because I'm a regular listener, I mean, similar thing with you, Ben, but you spill your guts slightly less than the Between Two Cairns folks. I've spent hours with Brad that's not been reciprocated. So the parasocial thing.
No, we had fun walking around Gen Con, man. We had some strong male bonding. We were
and I played a little bit of Dream Shrine.
Yeah, that's right. Yep, we're looking for food carts that could accommodate my extremely restrictive diet requirements, and wow, those were some memories. So I don't know what to say about that.
Well, Brad, I typically present some conversation starters, but then I do try and hang back a little bit. Let me start here, since you're both stalwarts of the OSR or NSR or new SR, or, whatever you want to call your branch of that movement, unless you disagree with me, of course. What piece of OSR common wisdom would you both think is either overstated or just plain wrong? Take a second and process.
Ooh, I don't know. WF, give me some of that prismatic wisdom, man. Yeah, I know you got something cooking. I don't know what I'm gonna say here.
Yeah, I feel like it's been said a lot, but I feel like the combat as a fail state is maybe the thing that's the easiest thing to disagree with, because the combat is a fun part of the game. Though honestly, most of my games combat happens so infrequently that I'll be trying to like literally playtest a combat system and something, and it's like it didn't happen for 3 sessions in a row. I'm like, I swear, guys, please fight something. But the idea of combat as a fail state is definitely a truism that's bandied about in the OSR. But it's part of the game. I understand kind of it saying like, you need to play in a clever way, avoid combat, but you can also, I think combat where you are not favored is a fail state maybe. But what if you get them in an ambush and you have all that cards stacked in your favor? That doesn't seem like a fail state. That seems like a win. So that's my choice.
I like that. Also, fighting is fun and cool. Like, why are we avoiding the fun and cool part of the game when it's fun to whack a guy with a sword? That's cool, man.
There's definitely kind of a slice of the OSR that, and I guess it's like the FKR. I probably couldn't say Kriegspiel. Well, I guess like free Kriegspiel Revolution.
Nailed it.
They I think want to move away as much from possible as kind of like the mechanics, but I do like the rolling of dice. That's part of the appeal to me. Not to the extent of like the common kind of 5th edition play culture where it's like, you roll a d20 for every little nit and jot, but I like engaging with mechanics here and there. I'm definitely more of a mechanics enjoyer. I like systems, which is not always true.
Yeah, I'm a systems enjoyer also. I like trying on, I think about systems as like trying on a new outfit. It's fun to just pretend, oh, what do I look like as a guy who wears red pants? You know what I mean? Maybe I try it, maybe it's not for me, but it was a fun experience, like getting to know that that's not for me. So I'm all about that. Yeah. I don't know though. I'm reaching for these like OSR truisms that I disagree with. I think there's wiggle room on all of them, I think it's general wisdom that the story happens in play, right? And it's not about this kind of traditional storytelling. That's like the wrong way to play a game. But I don't know. Sometimes it's fun to live in like the romance. Sometimes it's fun to live in the quests and the heroism. I don't know. I think there's a place for all of these things in the world of gaming. I don't know. I like pushing against those boundaries and seeing what's fun. I think I'm just here to have a good time. I'm not trying to tell people how to live their lives. That's what I'm all about.
So because I'm kind of a cleric of the OSR, I'm hearing kind of like you're bashing it's the prep, don't prep plots, prep tools thing. Do you prep plots like at all? Like actually like for your sessions, like I want this kind of story beat to happen?
Here's my, if there's like a theme in like the campaigns I run, I seed like the starts of like 10 different campaign threads, in a game. And so I've got like ideas about where these threads are going to go, and so it's kind of like, I like to seed half written stories and see how players bite. And then I've already got some wood in the woodshed to throw on that fire. You know what I mean? But I want to see where they're lighting the match. What really engages their imagination. So I've been playing like Mythic Bastionland recently. That's the game I've been playing. That's a really wild game because that is, I think more than most games I've played recently, that is really aggressively anti-prep. Like there is so much procedure that you just hang on for dear life as someone running it. I don't know where this game is going to go, but after a few sessions where I was really just playing it like we're playing it like it's a board game, I'm not prepping at all, I started kind of like thinking, okay, I'm going to add like a layer of meta narrative mayonnaise on this sandwich here. You know what I mean? And I feel like I really strengthened the work. I kind of put in some king stuff, some like rival to the throne stuff. And that just, I think, really made my players like latch on to every little thread a little more because they're more engaged in the world. They just like picked up on this like something greater than themselves, greater than the randomness that they were kind of seeing before. It just kind of, I think, was a good halfway meeting point for that. So I don't know, man. You can prep a little bit if you want to. It's fun. I think prepping is good.
Yeah, I'm pro prepping. I think it's kind of like, what do you prep? I agree with the put out lots of stuff and see what they buy. I kind of think of a lot of what I do is like, I imagine the players with like little fish, right? And I just have just a minefield of hooks and just see what they bite.
Yeah.
And that's the hooks, and then kind of what happens if they bite on one. That's kind of what I prep. But then I have to, just be aware that even though I have like, 100 things they could possibly do, that I have ideas for what would happen in response, they will do the 101st thing, 9 times out of 10. And so just in addition, the prep, gives you confidence to feel like you can roll the punches, but I'm always rolling with the punches. And that's what I like as a GM. And I am kind of a forever GM, although I like playing. And so what I like is kind of the improv, because I have kind of an improv theater background a little bit. So that's a fun part of it. I like the improv.
Yeah. I don't know. Part of it, like for me, I think, because I came up, my first really hardcore RPG I was playing was 3rd edition D&D. Like I started playing that when that came out, and that was like my life. Like I played that, I don't know, thousands of hours probably, and that game, when I'm a child, like you don't know the 6 cultures of play. You're just like, I'm gonna make a story about elves, and it was so aggressively like trad, like I'm making big plots, and it's like we're playing in a novel, it's like a movie. But I think one like very liberating thing from that is like like out of that culture of play is I just don't want to do like years long campaigns anymore. And so I'm really less precious about the story. If I know I'm probably only going to run this game for like 8 months, and then I'm going to get bored and try to run something else. I'm not prepping like a story. I'm also not afraid to like let this campaign burn to the ground. Like if players act like psychos, let's go there. You know what I mean? And if I want to do something that flips this thing over, like that's great. I'm not planning for 2 years from now when they get to level 18 to 20. Like I want a big, epic level arc. I'm like, no. I want I like the expectation that this game is going to end in a car crash. And I think that's very liberating to not live in this tyranny of like, we have to get to the end of the fantasy trilogy. I don't know. Ben, are you like a long form campaign guy? I know you're like a forever DM and you've been playing with the crew for a long time. Are you guys playing like years long campaigns? What's your game like?
So we just finished. I'm going to say we finished up a Blades in the Dark campaign that I feel that I failed at running.
That's a hard game to run. I'm going to say right here, that's a hard game to run. I enjoy it, but let me come back to that. Go on, please. Sorry to interrupt you.
It's okay. That makes me feel much better because I was like, this is such a cool game. What am I doing wrong? And I focused on the heists. Like there are certainly stories that I feel very equipped to like make up on the fly. Like Cthulhu weirdness, I can probably do it on the fly. Like a one night dungeon, I could probably do on the fly. But a heist, I felt out of my depth. And when I poked around for like, well, someone in the past 10 years must have been like, well, okay, for you slow DMs, here's, something like an adventure. It was not great / not what I needed. So I just completed my first session of Monster of the Week. It went pretty well. I hope that none of my players are listening because essentially a demon possessed a kid, and I was like, okay, at the end here, we're gonna have the hard choice. Like, you cannot expel this demon. The only way to get rid of the demon is going to be to kill the kid, unless you can think of something, or you could invite him into someone else. And I was like, let's see how this goes. And a guy was like, I'm going to talk the demon out of the kid, and he rolled like a 13. Which, of course, if you don't know, in Monster of the Week, that's an amazing roll, a 13. And I'm like, that's a really good roll. I'm going to respect it and have the demon leave. But I'm going to have the demon be like, oh, you want me to go? Okay, I'll go. Bye. And the demon takes off. And I'm like, I'll think of the demon's revenge later. And so I was thinking about it, and I'm like, oh well, I'll have the demon go after that player character in the game, and it'll be like, okay, you freed the demon, but now the demon's following you around. I'm like, that's pretty good. And then this morning I was like, no, I'm gonna start a fake Gmail account for the demon, and I'm gonna start emailing the player in the demon's voice.
Oh man, that's messed up.
and the demon's gonna come after the player, not the character. And it is messed up. I don't know where this is gonna go. Like
Cross the line.
It may be crossing a line. It's like the darkest thought I've had in a while. But I'm just gonna lean into it and go from there. But if we're kind of talking about play that interests me right now, I realize that this is something that none of us are equipped to talk about, but I'm just going to mention it. Luke Gearing's Wolves Upon the Coast is at Bundle of Holding right now. I bought it yesterday because Leo Hunt, who wrote The Shrike, said it was like the best OSR thing he'd ever seen. And like before that, it was like $50 for some not Word docs, but Microsoft Word docs.
They're formatted like Word docs for sure.
Yeah. Like really basic stuff. And again, I trust Luke Gearing that it's actually worth the 50. But I wasn't going to run it. There's no reason to get it right now. But once it was up there at a discount, I'm like, okay, I'm snapping it up right now. And I haven't had a chance to look at it. And listeners, right before this podcast, I emailed both Brad and WF. And I was like, hey, have either of you read this? And you both said, we have it. We'd like to, but we haven't.
Yeah, I even printed it at my allegedly my work computer. But I've lost the printing. But because he did make it, nicely Microsoft Word format, it was really easy to print and not feel like. Sometimes I'll go into the office and print something that for hobby stuff. I'm like, oh god, I hope nobody shows up the printer right now. But like with that, I'm like, nah, this looks like anything really. I assume that he designed it with that in mind. It's a adventure for the office worker.
Did you both pick that up before the sale?
Yeah, he released it in an interesting way where he released it on itch in a very early stage, and he priced it kind of low. I think it was like $10 or $15 when it first came out, and he was like, "This is going to get bigger, and I'm going to make this more and more expensive. So buy now if you're interested." So I bought it like when it came out for whatever it cost when it came out, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to read this someday." And it kept getting bigger, and I was like, "I'm going to print this on my work printer." and, yeah, I haven't gotten there yet, but I live in a world of massive RPG backlog.
Me too. That's the entire bookshelf behind me. But yeah, I also did the same thing. I think it's like a different funding model. I've seen a couple other. I know there's like a Western hex crawl that was the same way, where it like started like $5. And it's like, hey, I'm going to write more stuff for this, but as I write more, it's going to get more expensive, which is an interesting way to do it. Just from a creator perspective. It's a different, every funding model is a different type of FOMO. It's an interesting FOMO. It's like get on the ground floor.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know where to talk right now because we've got a lot of ideas I want to address. I want to go back to Blades in the Dark, but Wolves Upon the Coast. I don't know. Yeah, Luke Gearing. Look, I'm a huge fan. I have tons of his stuff. He doesn't know this. He's my rival. I don't think he knows who I am or if I exist or whatever, but I'm always like, I'm coming for you, Gearing.
You two are the most prolific, I think, OSR adventure writers, probably.
I don't know, man. I like to me, I think he's a fantastic writer. There's several we diverge in several key ways that make me mad sometimes, and I'll say one of them right now is like Wolves Upon the Coast. Like this dude, look, Luke Gearing is like that. He's like the top of his game. Everyone knows this guy. All right. If you're like a dungeon head, Luke Gearing, right? He could work with any artist in the world, so why is he releasing a Word doc, man? Like call up the artist you like you did Swivers with Dave Hoskins, man. That thing looks friggin' gorgeous, Like he could call up any artist in the world to be like, hey, you want to do art on an amazing book and sell it for whatever the hell we want? Like, yes. It's just like there's so much potential energy to make amazing art. And he's like, the words are enough. The words are the art. And I'm like, ugh. You could do so much. You could do anything.
He's definitely a minimalist. Do you consider yourself more of a maximalist, or you just think art's important?
I'm not I don't think I'm a maximalist. I'm a guy that reads a lot of comic books, all right? And I love looking at the pictures. And when I pick up a book, I want to see some cool pictures, all right? And when I see a potential for somewhere where there could be pictures and there's not, it hurts me a little bit inside, because there is a place where there could be beauty and and someone made a decision for there not to be, and that hurts me, you know.
I'm also a picture enjoyer, and I think it's not even just the beauty of pictures. I think there's also like a usability component for RPGs. So Barkeep has like, I think, an illustration every page. And one thing why I wanted to have illustrations everywhere is, for me, whenever I'm trying to like quickly reference something, I won't know like what page it's on because I'm not a savant. But I will be like, oh yeah, it was on that page with like the little bugbear art on the corner, and so I can easily kind of flip and find it based on what art was there, because that was, I can be like, I remember where it was on the page and which page.
Yeah.
So like that kind of just usability that I don't think is like immediately obvious. Obviously, it's nice to admire the pictures as well, and I love working with artists to illustrate what I've written. But there's also just kind of a quick reference if you want the adventure to be at the table and a companion for the person running the game. I think it helps.
Yeah. It's like it's like a shorthand too. If I can like see a picture trigger so much, like I can just download so much like information that goes along with that, instead of being like, I'm looking for like the shape of a header that can remind me of something, you know. Like just show me a little picture of a guy, you know, that'll help me. I just want can tell me so much. And
have you met Luke?
No, I've never met Luke Gearing. Yeah, I don't.
Unfortunately not. I know he's in the UK, so I'll have to go to Dragon Meet, I think, to see him.
Yeah.
Unlike Chris McDowell, who regularly comes to the US for cons.
Yeah, no, I'd love to meet him someday. Yeah, I've got this Tefrotic Nightmares right here. I got piles of this Luke Gearing stuff all over my house. I love it. Anyway, I don't know what to say.
Blades,
yeah, you play that one, W.F. Smith? You play Blades in the Dark?
I've played the Scum and Villainy hack of Blades, like way back in 2020. I liked things about it. I definitely do think that it's, you know, coming from an adventure game kind of background, you're like, man, why is there not an adventure? But for those kind of like story game, same thing with like Wanderhome, where it's not like there's no adventure included.
Yeah,
I just shift modes entirely, and it's easier when I don't have like super D&D pilled players, and just kind of do like a writer's room style. So like, yeah, like I don't want to prep an entire heist for it. I'll be like, okay, let's all kind of talk collectively before the heist about like kind of some of the stuff. And as long as the players are into it, it's super different from any sort of OSR game though. So it's kind of, it takes a mind shift for me, and I think for the players.
Yeah, I think it's a game that asks a lot of its players, and if the players aren't providing what it asks for, then that lands on the adjudicator or whatever it's called shoulders. And I think it's already kind of tough to run without that, but when you kind of have to be like a player also, I found it to be a really heavy lift, you know, when it's like, okay, players, what heist do you want to do today? And they're like, I don't know, what heists are out there? I'm like, no. Look at the map, think about the story, like what do you want, who do you want to rob? What's around here? I'm like, how about a bank? There's a bank across the street. Do you want to rob? You know, and like, I don't know, like heists. When you think of like heist media, it's always this like battle of wits, right? It's like these clever minds clashing, and that's really hard to run on the fly. You know, I think my favorite kind of game to run, my favorite kind of like dungeon, is basically just like an escape room that can kill you. You know, as I just want to give my players a messed up challenge that they have to bang their heads against. But the cleverness is done. Like I either bought that or I came up with that ahead of time. I don't have to do it, you know, at the seat of my pants here while I'm doing a bunch of funny voices here. You know what I mean? Like I want to preload that stuff.
Either of you familiar with the Dracula dossier?
I know about it. I haven't
I'm aware of it as well. Yeah.
So I can't. I have difficulty imagining a listener of this podcast does not know what it is, but just in case, it's for Night's Black Agents, which is Pelgrane Press's spies versus vampires game, and it presupposes that in the 19th century, British intelligence attempted to recruit Dracula and failed, and Bram Stoker's Dracula became like the cover story. And it turns out that Dracula exists. He's still alive. He's involved with spies. You're spies who find out. So, of course, Dracula's going to try and kill you. So you have to hunt down Dracula and kill him. And the novel Dracula becomes your handout. And they also went and added like, I think 50,000 words to Dracula. And it's pretty good. Like the writers over there are just geniuses. But the director's handbook, which is the like, okay, if they want to go to this garlic hothouse in Belgium mentioned in the novel Dracula, here's the garlic house in Belgium. Like every one of those is functionally like a heist, right?
Yeah. Right.
Like, you know, when they say they're going to go there, okay, I look it up, I read the 2 pages, I go. Like, I don't feel like I necessarily need a ton of prep to succeed at running a heist, but just something. And like, it's funny that like I ran that twice for 2 different groups. Like it's my, I think, most run single campaign. Both were epic and amazing. So it is funny that now I've finished Blades in the Dark and I'm like, I don't know if I'm good at heists, even though 10 years ago I was like, I ran. Maybe I'm getting old and the fascism is getting to my brain.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm sorry. The way you were talking just made that come to mind, so I decided to interject. But please continue on your current trajectory, or I'll ask about the Kriegspiel Revolution.
I mean, talking about player investment, did your players read the annotated, expanded Dracula?
So typically, it would just be at the table and they would flip through it and be like, how about this? Also, it had... because it was the first Kickstarter campaign I ever backed. And I was like, I'm all in on this. I will back you at you're going to send me a dossier of actual like occulty looking handouts to go with the game.
Yeah.
Those were equally as much fun and equally a hit. They're called I think the Hawkins papers now. And you can get them in PDF and print them out yourself and they look gorgeous. And like, okay, you kill some vampires in Budapest and they have the Renfield's diary on them. Here's Renfield's diary. Go, you know. And the you ever play you guys have played Call of Cthulhu?
I've not.
Yeah, shamefully no. I've never played Call of Cthulhu. Yeah.
Okay, I will volunteer to run Call of Cthulhu online for the 2 of you sometime because it's a great fucking game.
He's that tentacle fella, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But handouts in Call of Cthulhu will often be the answer. Like you go to the place, you research, you figure something out, you acquire the handout, and the handout has the answer. I don't think any handout in the Dracula dossier ever has the answer. I think it always points you to another location where you can go get more danger and more information, but the answers are not in the handouts so that you can make the answers be whatever you want. If Dracula is the son of Satan, you can do that. If Dracula is an alien, you can do that. So again, I will wax poetic about the Dracula dossier ad nauseum because I love it so much. And I'm going to stop talking now because I'm talking way too much in this episode. Unless you want to ask me questions about Call of Cthulhu, because then I'll talk about all night about that too.
I definitely should play it. In terms of like handouts, I don't usually use handouts at the table, mostly just because I'm like too lazy to make them. So a game that comes with it is always nice. I played in Paranoia at PAX this last year. Chris McDowell ran it, and they're like handout like forms, like whenever you like wanted to like requisition an item, and it would have like a form and triplicate that you would like fill out and hand back to him. That was a neat kind of little handout, but again, like that's something that has to come with the box set. Like I don't think that you can expect the GM to make a in triplicate form to fill out.
It's cool. Is the Dracula dossier expand on any of the cowboy stuff in Dracula?
It does. I mean, like again, for those of you unfamiliar with the novel, there's a cowboy in Dracula, a legitimate Texan. I guess the Francis Ford Coppola movie at least has that in it.
Mhm.
But I don't recall what they did with that. Was Quincy, right?
I didn't see that version.
I forget. Hang on, that doesn't really matter. I just don't remember the name of the Texan character. Quincy Morris. Quincy Morris.
Yeah.
There we go.
That's the cowboy's name, and I just got it. Okay.
It took so I don't remember what they did with him, but they definitely did not leave that lie fallow. The fact that there's a bloomin' cowboy in the middle of this Gothic novel.
They don't make you just immediately switch to running Boot Hill whenever that shows up in the game.
Players are really into the cowboy stuff.
Who mentioned the Kriegspiel Revolution?
I think I did as a little one-off, yeah.
And is that an actual thing?
Oh, have you never heard of FKR?
No, so please, that's what that hence my follow-up.
So free Kriegspiel Revolution, like you said, OSR, NSR, post SR. It's within the post OSR umbrella, right? Like all these people still hang out in the same circles as all the OSR people, but free Kriegspiel Revolution is like basically like as rules minimalist as possible. Even like maybe like the players don't even like have to interact with the rules at all, and the GM is just kind of doing whatever kind of rules computations they want to do. But it's kind of it's entirely its own little sphere of at least the blogosphere. I'm not sure how much you guys kind of dealt. I know that Brad's a famous blog hater, actually.
Just a blog not reader does not make a hater.
Yeah, he's a agnostic on blogs.
I'm a distant blog respecter.
There was a recent like mapping the blogosphere project. It's currently the bloggies are running, so it's up for a gold bloggy. But it basically somebody used kind of like data analysis to like see blogs that were like hyperlinking to each other, and made a big kind of chart spanning from like I think like 2001 to now, and you can kind of look year by year. But FKR is kind of that's its own kind of community that links out to OSR stuff, just like a Goblin Punch and Goblin Laws of Gaming. That's its own kind of like slightly different sphere that overlaps a little bit with the OSR. But the FKR is cool. It's not really for me just because I am so much of a dice sicko, and I love my probability tables and weird mechanics, and I'm constantly writing that kind of stuff. But they have a lot of good advice on running games.
And just glancing again at the internet just now, so it's rules not minimal so much as the rules are pushed onto the DM.
From my understanding, and stop me if I'm wrong, it's kind of like the rules are invisible to the players almost, or at least they players like just kind of live in the fiction of the world, right? And they act realistically with the moment, and the rules are either ruled on the fly, like ad hoc rulings by the adjudicator, by the referee, or they're like made codified like as play goes on, right? Like mechanics develop, but it's not like sit down and read this player's handbook about how to play the game. That component is gone. It's like you're living in the role-playing game, and the rules hide in the background almost.
I mean, it's fascinating in some ways because early on, reportedly Gygax kind of ran that way. Like he'd make a little, literal wall that he would like shout things over at players sometimes. But at the same time, man, like, yeah, I think that the dice and the probability really does something for the suspension of disbelief, and it's really hard to have that same suspension of disbelief without it. Like I had a friend who was a forever DM, and he cheated all the time, like constant cheating on dice rolls,
like fudging dice and stuff like that. Is that what you mean?
Always to the end of his desired result, though. Like, he really had his finger on his hand on the tiller of the narrative. And again, I would call it, I would call it cheating because he would roll the dice and then ignore them, which you can argue if a DM should do that or not. But like within my social gaming group, the DMs that roll their dice in the open, people respond to that because there was this other guy who was kind of cheating all the time. And I do wonder, like, as cool as it is to move it back there, I feel like you would lose something of suspension of disbelief, as you're like, you're just making this all up. Is there a system at all? Is this all just madness?
It definitely puts everything on the GM. Like, whereas kind of in the base, you have the GM has a lot of power, the players have inputs, but then you do also have like the randomness. But yeah, I mean, honestly, with FKR, especially the ones that are more like rulings, where it's just like literally just them making decisions based on what makes sense in the fiction. The GM's just kind of like a mentat kind of supercomputer running the video game for you, I think, is kind of like the way that it's thought of.
Yeah, I'm not like a hardcore orthodox FKR head. I've like dabbled in trying FKR style play. I don't know. To me, it's like a very high trust form of play, right? Like a game like 4th edition D&D is very low trust. It's like so codified that like one table is very similar to another table. Like it is, you go from one 4E game to another. It's the experience is not different. It's maybe there's different shades, but it's the same picture, right? FKR is like, you gotta. I think it works best when like there's ultimate, like you trust the person running, the referee trusts the players, and there's a lot of like visibility and transparency. You know, like I like when I've tried to run it, it's like, oh yeah, well this sounds dangerous. You know, based on your character's experience with yada yada, I'd say you have like a 2 in 6 chance of success with this. Does that sound fair? They might argue with me. Oh, I don't know, because I have a crowbar. I think it's more of a 3 in 6 chance of success. All right, I trust that. Roll a d6 and see if you're successful. That kind of thing. So it's like a conversational style of play, at least in the way I have approached it. But again, I don't know. I'm not. I know there's like some hardcore FKR heads who would tell me what I'm doing is not FKR, and I would agree because I don't care and. That's fine. I don't want to fight you. So you're correct.
Well, you could just say that the K in your FKR stands for your last name. So
that's right. F Kerr. Yeah, it's good.
So Brad, how did you go from 3rd edition to the OSR?
Yeah. I mean, I guess in my youth, you know, I was just playing what I could find, right? And that I bought 3rd edition D&D the day it came out. That was me like deciding to be a role-playing game player. I played like some Marvel superheroes game. I played Heroes Unlimited a little bit, but I was like, no, I want to play something real. I want to play D&D. And I went to the store and the guy was like, well, yeah, we can sell it to you, but there's this new edition coming out in a few months. And I was like, yeah, man, I just started my first part-time job. I'm all in, baby. So I went for it. That was like my first purchase ever on this crazy website called Amazon.com that sells books. I used my dad's credit card and bought 3rd edition D&D and printed, you know, character sheets at the church photocopier. So anyway, I just like, you know, when you're a kid, you don't know that there's games beyond what you're playing, right? Like I saw like Vampire the Masquerade. I was like, I don't know. That's kind of freaky. So I just kind of played what was popular. I played 3E for 1 million hours, and then 4E came out. I played that for another 1 million hours. 5E came out. I played that, and then I was just kind of starting to get into other indie stuff. I got really into Savage Worlds. I was just kind of feeling the pulse. It's like, hey, you know what? It's actually fun to just try different games. No real reason. I was just probably, honestly, just had more income. Like I was a working adult professional. And I could go out and buy a game that looked cool, you know, and just buying more games opened up the world of like figuring out what I think was cool. So I was buying a lot of Lamentations of the Flame Princess modules. And at the time I was playing Dungeon World, which was a, you know, powered by the Apocalypse game, and really struggling with a lot of that. And then switching to Lamentations of the Flame Princess, I realized kind of like, wait a second. I can do a lot of the same thing in Dungeon World. Like a lot of this freedom that I'm kind of enjoying, I could do this in this like Lamentations game. You know, it's just not like codified. It's just like loose enough. I can just do whatever I want. And that was very liberating, you know? So I never really vibed with like the gore and nastiness of Lamentations. So once I realized like, wait, it's just BX D&D. It's like this old D&D. Like that's what I'm playing. That got me into other like light games, and then I found out what OSR is and stuff like that. But Yeah, I think for me, like what really clicked was just like reading these modules. I had a module I wanted to write where like a wizard does a really powerful spell. It's in Hideous Daylight, right? Like a wizard stops the sun. And playing a game like Pathfinder or something like that, which I played a million years, you can't do that. You have to like write the spell. It has to be fair. Like players have to learn stop the sun. You know what I mean? It's like, but I was just finding these games. I was like, you can just say it's magic, man. Like that was such like a liberating thought. It just really, really gave me permission to kind of like make the games that I thought were interesting, where magic is like a cool and mysterious thing instead of like a gun you can shoot, which is kind of like what I felt like Pathfinder magic is. So anyway, yeah, it's just it showed me what I realized I'd always wanted in D&D. So that's why I fell really hard into OSR stuff, and that's where I'm at now. It's a very long-winded approach to that.
I had basically the same path actually. I also started 3.5, but during the 40 era, moved on to 5th edition. Also started playing Dungeon World, kind of not super getting into it that much. But then I just saw UVG online during COVID, and it like was a it was like a neon Jesus sign to the unbeliever, and that led me onto the OSR hedonic treadmill. So I've been on that ever since.
And I'm sorry, what was the Jesus sign?
Ultraviolet grassland.
Oh, okay, that's what I thought you said.
That was what converted me to the light. So thanks to Luca for that.
Yeah, it's great because the cool art attracted you, right?
Yeah. If it was like just the words ultraviolet grassland, probably maybe not, but
well, once you had the cool art, then you read the cool words. That was a beautiful pairing.
Hear that, Mr. Gearing?
It's so stupid.
I mean, it is an aggressively confident move to be like, no, I'm just like, guys, Luke Stratton designed Morkborg, illustrated Morkborg, and laid out Morkborg, as I recall. And it's amazing,
Pyreborg, right?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, Pyreborg, thank you. And to be like, I'm going to do the exact opposite of that. I will do, it's just something I typed up in Microsoft Word, and that is it. And it'll be $50.
But
like,
he's earned it. Unlike, you can't just do that if you're just a fledgling creator. Like somebody who didn't recognize the name and had not, or you already own like 10 of their adventures, was like, here is my very long adventure. There is no art. It is in Microsoft Word. Please buy it. I'd be like, I don't know. I'm not doing that.
But it's like, I feel like I gotta respect it though. You know what I mean? It's art. It's provoking a response. Like that's art, man. And it's freaking good too. It's just like, I think there's tons of people out there making weirdo RPGs that are just typewritten 100-page manuscripts that are really hard to dig in. It's just like Luke Gearing. He's already pulled me in so much that I'm willing to be like, yes, I will pay attention to this. And my God, it is brilliant. And it's eliciting a response, man. That's art. It's making me pissed off. But not because it's bad. It's because it's good. It's just I disagree with a lot of it, So I don't know. This is why he's my rival, because I respect it. It's just everyone needs a rival. That's what I've like. That's like an adult lesson I've come to.
I learned as a child that's Pokemon, I think.
Yo, let's talk about that. Can we?
Let's talk about that.
Sure. So we talked about heists. So I'm doing a heist funding next week. It's the 30th anniversary of Pokemon. So I've come out with and I don't own any of the IP. Obviously, it's all fair use. It's all parody, Weird Al Yankovic kind of stuff. But I have a system called Into the Oddish, which is basically the Into the Odd, kind of core chassis, but it's Pokemon. You play as Pokemon in a kind of post-apocalyptic world where humans are all gone. You're having adventures, earning gym badges, evolving, learning new moves. And in addition to so there's like a red version, blue version, like the old games of Into the Oddish. And in addition to that, there'll also be an adventure called Vile Plume Mountain, which is also a parody of White Plume Mountain, but with Pokemon trappings. So all of that is going to be kind of on pre-order on my website next week. But Yeah, it's been fun to write. It's I think probably even more commercially unviable than a very long Word document, just because I don't own any of the IP. But we'll see how long I'm able to do pre-orders without either Wizards of the Coast or Nintendo or maybe Chris McDowell suing me. Could be any of those three.
Hoping for a triple threat, all three.
It'll be spy versus spy. They're all trying to get after me, but they're bumbling because they're all doing it at the same time.
Man,
you go ahead, Brad. Sorry.
You just talk about like art that elicits a response that I can respect. Man, just the boldness, man. I just like I respect it. You're a man of law. Like you know better.
I think lawyers are the most the most chaotic because we know law's made up and just bullshit. So
no, but looks awesome. I was reviewing. You sent us an early draft of the PDF here. It's what I thought it would be and more. I'm loving it.
Yeah, I've been working on it on and off for like years because I had the Vile Plume Mountain adventure. I wrote that like 2021 or something like that, and I didn't come up with the idea of Into the Oddish until I was on Twitter. And that there's a medieval bestiary Oddish on the cover. It wasn't until I saw that on Twitter, which is from an actual like medieval like bestiary, where I guess there's like, this is what a radish looks like. It has a face. I was like, this is it. And I was just like, I immediately started coming up with Into the Oddish and just wanted to time it for the 30th anniversary. Because Pokemon, the original Pokemon, it's totally OSR. I have a blog post expanding on it for a longer piece, but I definitely think Pokemon is kind of my journey to the OSR. Obviously, we said 3.5, Dungeon World, all that, but really it started much earlier with Pokemon.
Man, that's an interesting thought. Pokemon is OSR. Oh my god! I guess you have a limit on management, right? It's like all about resources. Like the vocabulary of action is all the creatures, right? It's like, how do you use them? Yeah, it's like a OSR shovel is basically having your Rattata use Rock Smash or whatever. I don't know if you can learn that, but you get the idea.
May I read from Into the Oddish?
Yeah.
So this is the world of Pokemon. Hello there. Welcome to a world of Pokemon. My name was Professor Oak. People once called me the Pokemon Prof. This world is inhabited entirely by creatures called Pokemon. Long ago, creatures called humans treated them as pets, used them for fights, or studied them as a profession. Now, Pokemon rule the world amidst the ruins humanity left behind. Your very own Pokemon legend is about to unfold. A world of dreams and adventures as Pokemon. Let's go. And I have to say, when you were like, it's going to be like a Pokemon parody, I was like, oh, yeah. So the serial numbers are filed off, but the serial numbers are on there, sir.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And all of the, there's like a monster manual. You obviously have a bunch of Pokemon you can fight. And also the playable Pokemon, the descriptions are from the games as well. So, and the different versions have different descriptions. So like, it's because it's from like the leaf green Pokedex versus the fire red Pokedex descriptions. No, I left it in there. I mean, it's like, why not? Like, I'm not making a claim that I own this.
It's parody. It's all parody. We're having a laugh. Parody.
No, Weird Al, he was consulted on this. He didn't respond to the consultation, but Ouija board. I know you're not supposed to do it with live people, but we got in contact. It's all parody. Don't worry about it, lawyers.
Nah. We're just having some chuckles, y'all. It's nothing. Anything. I'm not at all. I have nothing to do with this. Let's make this very clear. But WF is. It's just some chuckles. We're having a laugh here. Yeah. Have you?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So I want to just know the extent of this in your life. Are you running this for a group? Are you play testing? What?
I've run it for my home group, like way back in the day, an earlier version of this, and now that it's like pretty much final, I'm running it for some people on Discord. And it's fun. I mean, so I mentioned earlier that I have trouble like getting people to actually like fight. We're 2 sessions in, and so far I've not had a Pokemon fight. I really want to open the 3rd session, maybe just with one. But even just like the brainstorming, because like I was like, okay, what, where in the original kind of game do you guys want to start? And like, oh, we want to start in Vermilion City. I was like, okay, let's talk about like, what the factions, like are those gym leaders Pokemon still there? And like, no, they've been kicked out by the Diglets. Diglets own this town now. But the electric Pokemon are trying to get back in. They're called the Resurgence because Lieutenant Surge.
Wow.
It's really easy to make factions though with Pokemon game, because all you have to do is, so we have the Diglets, we have the electric one. Also, we have some Squirtles, who used to be kind of criminals in the city.
Squirtle Squad.
Yeah, Squirtle Squad. Because water, ground, electric. There's that little rock paper scissors. Bam, you got an immediate faction. So they spent the entire last game trying to negotiate with these factions, trying to get the right matchup to agree to work together because they all hate each other.
Wow.
Yeah, so the type advantages, it just immediately kind of clicks in people's head like, okay, this is rock paper scissors. We need to get these guys to work against each other.
So where can people find this?
I've not made the page yet, but it'll be on prismaticwasteland.com. If you click on the little hamburger icon, there should be like a shop page, and there should be like a pre-order kind of thing. It should basically look like a product. Everything is done, except for I'm still working on a little bit of layout for Vileplume Mountain. But all I just need is basically the pre-orders. I get the shipping. I'm doing this no matter what, even if we get shut down by Chris McDowell's high-powered lawyers on day 2. However many we get ordered for day 1, those are going out. So I'm excited for it. I mean, if it only ever loses me money, at least I'll have these books in print. So then that's the goal.
It's like a real quest. I feel like you're sworn an oath here. You're going to see it through. I respect it.
Yeah.
This may be the wildest episode I've ever recorded. Like, Brad is going to war against Luke Gearing. WF is going to war against Nintendo and Chris McDowell. I mean, this is a lot.
Luke Gearing and Nintendo are equally powerful, by the way.
I kind of regret. Go ahead and edit out all the Luke Gearing stuff, man. You offered it before. That's cool. No, I'm just joking. But look, I don't want any. I hope no one tells Luke Gearing that someone thinks of him as a rival. Because I don't
title the episode that, and I'm not being sarcastic.
Oh my god, no! Because I think it's good to have a rival that, as far as I'm concerned, is just like a spectral force. You know what I mean? I don't want to.
Maybe instead of saying he's my rival, maybe just say Luke Gearing is his Gary Oak.
I mean, I thought that the Luke Gearing trash talking was going to be the hot take from this episode, but your Pokemon comments are hotter. This is hot stuff.
Brad, did you do like a Batman kind of also legal parody kind of thing as well? Or am I misremembering that you wanted to do a Batman?
Who, me?
Yeah, am I misremembering?
No, I don't. I mean, I like Batman as a guy, but no, I don't have any.
Oh, okay. Well, you should make the Batman RPG. You should.
I don't have any
unlicensed
ideas around.
Okay.
So Brad, what work of yours would you point people towards?
Wow, good question. I've got a book of adventures called Wyvern Songs. I think it has some. I think I'd probably my strongest work is there. Look at that. WF is holding it up. Thank you, WF. I'm pretty proud of that one. It's an anthology for adventures for old school essentials. I think that's a pretty good representation of the old Bradster. Really regret saying that. Also, Ben, if you would go ahead and edit out me saying the old Bradster, that'd be great. Yeah, I think that's maybe start there. Let's see how it goes.
Start there and see how it goes. Oh my god. I guess I should shout out. If you enjoy this kind of tomfoolery, please support us on Patreon. A mere $3 a month gets you access to our Discord server, special episodes where I'm slowly reading the first edition Dungeon Master's Guide aloud with Dr. Scott Bruner, special episodes where I interview second edition designer Zeb Cook in the Hugh Hefner suite in the former Playboy Club in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin.
Whoa!
I know. The seminar at Gamehole Con where I went over 20 years of leaked D&D sales data. So all for $3 a month, less than the price of a cup of coffee, gets you all that hot goodness.
This is why you're the controversial figure you are. It's content like that. That's spicy.
I don't know. I think I should maybe I should shut up more. Like, but yeah, it's too late now. Brad, are you originally from Oregon?
No, I was born in Ohio, but I live here now.
Oh, well, yeah, much
Oregon.
better weather.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah.
All right.
A lot of stuff.
Better a lot of stuff. Any other work that either of you would like to shout out?
For me, the Into the Oddish is the thing I'm really hawking right now. Obviously, if you're listening to this 2 weeks from now, too late. But get on board now. We talk about crowdfunding models and FOMO. You should start building up the FOMO now. This gets released Sunday, and then on maybe Tuesday, I think, is when I'll release it. Then you can get rid of the FOMO, hit the pre-order button. There'll be a Gotta Catch 'Em All bundle, so you can get both red and blue version for the real sickos. For the real sickos, but yeah.
I don't know. I don't have anything. I got a website. Can I say go to my website?
Please.
bradkerr.net. It's for all the hottest web pages. It's got them all. An about page, also a contact page. Both kinds of pages. It's great. Click
the
links.
Contact page works.
You can have fun online, folks. There's a lot of stuff to click, a lot of stuff to look at. Pretty cool.
All right. With that, I will say, gentlemen, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ben.